Okay, here we go. The Rebbe should help in the schus of our learning. Klal Yisrael should have a shmira, and that no one should get hurt. And the
Amen.
hostage should be released, and we should have shalom in Yisrael. Mashiach should come.
I say, Yosy, that there are no hostages alive anymore. It's a myth.
We're not there to help them fight, but we're here to be able to help get them a schus Torah. Hashem should help that the schusim should help to redeem Klal Yisrael. Okay, so we really have to go a little bit back to Daf Mem Daled Amud Beis before we can get started on Mem He Amud Aleph. So I just want to bring us up to speed of where we were holding. The Gemara quoted in Mechloikis Beis Shammai and Basil, which is what this entire discussion will be about today. And that is as follows. It was a discussion related to being Mechalel Meiser Sheni onto money, so that you don't have to drag all the fruits up to Yerushalayim, rather you take the money up. And the Brisa quoted Beis Shammai and Basil with the following machlokes. Beis Shammai said, Loi Yasa Odom Sloyin Dinarizah. If you have silver coins that were already Nischalel, they already have the Kedusha of Meiser Sheni on them, don't transfer those by consolidating them further into gold coins. That's what Beis Shammai said. And Basil said it was mutter. That all we hear from Beis Shammai and Basil. And the Gemara is going to end up sharing with us three different pshatim in this machlokes. Two of them will survive, one will not survive. And two of the pshatim are going to explain that when Beis Shammai says lo yasa adam sloyin dinarei means it doesn't work. Midaraisa, it simply does not work. You cannot be machal silver onto gold. The third pshat that we're going to learn tonight is it's midrabanan. Really, it does work, but midrabanan you're not supposed to, and there'll be reasons for that. The thing that we need to point out is the lashon of Beis Shammai is lo yasa adam. One should not do. That almost sounds like it'll work, but you shouldn't do it. So the lashon of the brayta that quotes Beis Shammai and Basil seems to indicate that it's only a derabbanan. But in fact, we are going to have a pshat that we learned on Friday, that is the Raisa. And what did the Gemara say in the first pshat? The Gemara said in the first pshat is the whole machlokes between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel is whether or not you could be mechalel kesef onto zov. Why would you be able to and why would you not be able to? Zok the Gemara, the same halachas that we learn Lagabe kinyonim, and we learned Lagabe kinyonim that kesef doesn't work, but if you make meshicha on the product, the kinyan works. That same principle should apply equally to Meiser Sheni. And therefore, Beis Shammai, who says you cannot be machal silver onto gold, holds that silver is currency, gold is product. And we know you can't put currency onto product. When you're being mechal Meiser Sheni, you're putting product onto currency. So the reason why Beis Shammai says lo yas adam sloim din izov is because gold is product and sloim are currency. Beis Hillel matirin, because Beis Hillel holds the opposite. He holds that the gold is currency and the silver is product, which is the exact issue we had earlier between Rabbi B'Yaldusai and Rabbi B'Ziknusai. Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish made a comment about this machlekes, and that is as follows: when Beis Shammai said you're not allowed to make silver into gold, that's because silver is like currency, gold is like pears. Now, when we say gold is like pears, is that an absolute that gold is like pears, or maybe it just means when you're comparing it to silver, gold is like pears? So therefore, what if I wanted to take my Paris Meiser Sheni and be Mechal the Kedusha directly onto the Zov? That should work. Because although Zov in comparison to silver might be product, but gold in comparison to the Paris, we would consider currency and it would work. That was one option in how to understand Beis Shammai. The other option in how to understand Beis Shammai is that no, gold is an absolute peri, not only relative to silver. and therefore, even if you wanted to be machal from Paris directly onto gold, it would not work. And the same way we define Paris and currency, lagabe kinyonim, we're going to apply that to the halachas of chilul ma'asher. That was the first pshat that we had. And starting at the bottom, the Gemara says, Tistayim, the Rabbi Yochanan, hu domer ein mechal. Remember, we had a shita that said that according to Beis Shammai, Zohav is absolute Paris. It's absolute product. And therefore, even Paris, you would not be able to be mechalo upon Zohav, because Zohav is considered Paris. How do you see that that's what Rabbi Yochanan holds? The Amar Rabbi Yochanan said, and now we can turn on to Mem Hey Amar Aleph. Rabbi Yochanan said, halacha legabe ribis. So it's funny, we're looking at relationships between gold and silver, what's considered peirit, what's considered tiva. We're looking at it legabe mechach memkar, which we're comparing now to chil ma'asher sheni, and now we're also going to say it should have the same rule legabe ribis. Now we learned that ribis, I'm allowed to lend you $100 and you'll pay me back the $100 in a year. Even though the $100 might lose a lot of its buying power due to inflation, it doesn't matter. That's not ribis. The same thing would be, I'm going to lend you a 5-pound bag of flour today that's worth $3.79. Even though when you pay me back the bag of flour, it'll be worth $5.79. Midaraisa. Midarabanan, they made a xer by Paris, like a 5-pound bag of flour, that Asr Lilavo Saw Abisa. I'm not allowed to do that. So now if gold is considered currency, it should be allowed. If gold is considered product, then it should be Asr Midarabanan because of Saw Abisa. What did Rabbi Yochanan say? Asr Lilavo is dinner b'din. You're not allowed to lend a dinner and someone will pay me back a dinner. But it's not clear what type of dinner Rabbi Yochanan was referring to. So, Frank Gemara, dinner demai, a dinner of what metal? If you want to suggest that Rabbi Yochanan is answering even to lend out a dinner shel kesef, with a dinner shel kesef, that's impossible. Because l'gabi nafshei, mi'ika l'man domer laf tivahava, no one would say that silver, when you're lending silver and receiving silver, no one would say that that's anything other than currency. So there's no way anybody could possibly answer that. Elapshita, the only conceivable case that Rabbi Yochanan could have been referring to was Dinir Shal Zav b'Dinir Shal Zav. So let's think. Ulaman, when Rabbi Yochanan said his halacha, who was he saying it according to? Ila Beis Hillel, if he was talking about Beis Hillel, that doesn't make sense. Ha'amri Tevahaba. Beis Hillel says that gold is currency. So surely it should be mutter to lend gold for gold. Elalav Beis Shammai, it must be there. Rabbi Yochanan said his halacha according to Beis Shammai, and Beis Shammai says that you cannot be mechalal silver onto gold by ma'asher sheni. Hu adin, you can't lend gold for gold because it's peira, and therefore you wouldn't be able to be mechalal peiros onto gold either. Ushma mina Rabbi Yochanan hu da'amar ein mechalalina. You see that it's Rabbi Yochanan who understood that Beis Shammai said that not only can you not be mechalal silver onto gold, you can't even be mechalal peiros onto gold. Zok the Gemara loy, you don't have a right. Maybe Rabbi Yochanan holds that according to Beis Shammai, although you cannot be mechalal silver onto gold, you can be mechalal peiros onto gold. So why by halva is it usher to lend gold for gold? B'shayni halva is different. And now we're saying you can no longer compare the halachas of ribis to the halachas of chilul of ma'aser sheni, because by halva kivon de le'inyan mekachu memkar shavyu rabbanan ki peira. Since legabe mekachu memkar, when you're comparing gold to silver, we consider gold to be the product, and if there was any fluctuation in value between silver and gold, we say it's the gold, the product that changed its value, but the currency remains stable. It's the gold that went up or down. Once we see that, and therefore, if you try to swap silver with gold, if you made a Mashiach on the gold, there would be a kinyan. Therefore, nami so here the Gemara is saying you can't assume that all the definitions that apply by Ma'aser Sheni apply by Halva. This definition of what's Peira and what's Tiva between gold and silver applies by Mekach and Memker, applies by Ribis, but not necessarily does it apply by Chilul of Ma'aser Sheni. I'm going to prove to you that there's a distinction between how we define currency versus Paris, Lagabe Chilul Ma'aser Sheni, and the way we define it, Lagabe Ribis and Lagabe Mekach and Memker. When Ravin came, he told us in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, even though we consider it peri, Lagabi Ribis, but we consider it tiva, Lagabi Ma'aser Shemamina, that you cannot use one universal definition across the board. And there might be a different definition of what tiva is regarding Ma'aser versus regarding Ribis. And this is something that comes across around Shas. Like, for instance, Ksiva. What if I don't write a normal letter for a Sefer Torah? Rather, I pour ink and I have a big black blotch on the cloth. And then what I do is I scrape out the black ink around the letters, and therefore there are letters remaining on the cloth. Is that considered Ksiva? Now, it's not kosher for a Sefer Torah. It wasn't called ksiva. I don't think it's kosher for a get either. But legabe writing on Shabbos, legabe the Easter of writing on Shabbos, I believe most poskim hold that is also. So you see, the definition of the word ksiva is not necessarily universal. Every parsha might have its own parameters, similar to what the Gemara is saying over here. How you define gold as tiva or peira might be different depending on the parsha we're discussing. Tashma, let's ask another question. Haparit sela mimois marsha sheni. What happens? A person is constantly redeeming his marsha sheni onto nechoshes coins, not very valuable coins. And now you have a 20-pound sack of copper coins, which is very difficult to schlep up to Yerushalayim. So we thought, let me consolidate, and now I'll swap these copper coins into silver coins, and it'll be a much lighter load. So Zok the Bryce, someone's swapping up from copper to silver. You can take all of your pennies, all of your copper, and you could transfer it into silver. No problem. And then you'll have exclusively silver with you as you go up to Yerushalayim. No, not so fast. B'shekel kasev b'shekel mois. You have to split it 50-50. The maximum amount that you're allowed to consolidate into silver would be 50% of what you have. But 50% of what you have has to remain in prutos. Why? Because what happens whenever we go to Israel, we go to Israel and we can't buy anything because we need klein geld. Even if you're going to bring shkolim with you, maybe 1,000 shkolim bills, but you can't buy a soda with 1,000 shekel bill without the chum klein geld. So therefore, we want everybody to come to Yerushalayim with klein geld so they can buy things right away. Because if everybody only comes with gross geld, with big bills, what's everyone going to do as soon as they arrive? They're going to run to the money exchange and buy copper. There's going to be such a run on copper. Copper is going to go up in price. And if copper goes up in price, ultimately, you're going to be buying less Ma'aser Sheni with that copper because you're going to get less copper for your silver. So therefore, always bring with you klein geld. That's what Beisil holds. Beisil holds you have to bring with you klein geld. Beishamai says, nope, you can swap it all. But let's stop for a second. How did you have klein geld in the first place? How did you have the copper in the first place? You must have been mechalo the Paris onto the copper. So Frank the Gemara, a beautiful kasha. Without a doubt, from this brisa we see that somebody took the kedusha of the Ma'aser Sheni and put it onto the prutas of nechoshes. So you have a shaila what Beishamai would hold about putting the kedusha of Ma'aser Sheni onto gold. If you could put it onto copper, Surely you should be able to put it onto gold, which is much more chashuv. Zoktimar, not necessarily. There's a svara to say that you can put the kedushas of Ma'aseh onto copper, but not onto gold. Why? Shiny priti, but after the sagyo and charifi. In cities where they're used a lot, they're very, very liquid, and they're very good currency. So therefore, they have a mila over gold, and it's possible that Beishamai would hold you could not be mechal Ma'aseh Sheni onto gold, yet they would hold you could be mechal Ma'aseh Sheni onto copper. Which once again is a departure from the halachas legabi mekach memkar, because our Mishnah says beferish that nechayshas legabe kesef is considered product and not currency. Beautiful. That is the first pshat in the machlokes b'sham and b'sil, and basically it's a machlokes that's not really a machlokes specific to Ma'aseh Sheni. It's a machlokes that's relevant to our sugya. Gold and silver, which one is considered the currency and which one is considered the product? According to Beis Shammai, the gold is considered the product, and according to Beis Hillel, the silver is considered the product. Beautiful. Lishnachmina. Now we have another pshat. Now this pshat is not going to survive, but let's learn this pshat anyway. Amri Lo, Rabbi Yochanan v'Reish Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish once again are commenting on the machlokes of Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel, whether or not you can take silver of Ma'aser Sheni and be mechalel it onto gold. Tadomar, one of the two said, machlokes b'sloin al dinarim. The whole machlokes is whether you could put silver onto gold. The Beis Shammai Savar, the Beis Shammai Savri, they hold not like what we said before, that it was a universal question of what's tiva and what's peri. No, there's a special gzer sakosov that's specific to Ma'aser Sheni only. And it says hakesef. It says v'tzarta hakesef b'yodecha. We can look at the actual pasuk inside. It says v'nesata b'kesef v'tzarta hakesef b'yodecha. There's only one chilul that you could do. So Beis Shammai Savri, Beis Shammai holds hakesef kesef rishon b'lei kesef sheni. The Torah is telling you you're only allowed to do one chilul. You have one shot to consolidate your parish onto money, not twice. So therefore, Beis Shammai holds if you have silver that was mechula with Ma'aser Sheni, you can't put it on the zav. Not because of tiva and payah, nothing to do with that. It's because you couldn't be mechal it onto anything. You only have one shot. You already put the kedusha on the silver, and then now you got to take the silver up to Yerushalayim. Basilu Savri hakesef kesef ribav afilu kesef sheni. Basilu, there's no limitation. You can keep on swapping and trading up. You can consolidate your fruits onto the chayshes, and then the chayshes onto kesef, and the kesef on the zav. There's no limitation with how many times you can make chilul. Beis Shammai holds you're limited to once. Aval peris al dinur. But what if you wanted to be mechal peris directly onto gold? Divra kol mechalalina. Surely even Beis Shammai agrees you can. The akati kesef rishonu, because it's the first chilul. The first chilul you're allowed to do. The chad amar and the other mandamar would say af beperis al dinur nami machlokes. Beis Shammai doesn't allow you to be mechal peris onto dinarim. Why not? The reason for Beis Shammai would be the same as what we said before, is that zav is an absolute teira, it's an absolute product, and you can never be mechalel Ma'aser Sheni onto product. Frek the Gemara, uleman the omer sloin al dinar machlokes. If you hold the only machlokes is by silver on dinar, and that's because you can't do it twice, but you surely could be mechalel the payers themselves directly onto the gold. So why did we chap on a case of silver onto gold? Ad the mifligi besloin al dinarin, livligi besloin al sloin. Why didn't the Mishnah say a case where you want to mechal silver onto silver? It has nothing to do with the fact that there's a different metal here. The whole issue is whether or not you're allowed to do it twice. Now Tosfos asks, which nut bar is going to be mechal silver onto silver? You're spinning your wheels. You're not accomplishing anything. So Tosfos says, no, could be you had silver that wasn't such a good matpeya, and you want to be mechalit onto silver that will be a better matpeya. There could be a reason why you would want to go from silver to silver. But if it's only a question is, can you be mechal a second time? Why did the case that the Brisa decided to share the machlekes b'sham and b'sil, why did it have to be a case when you're going from silver to gold? The answer is simple. If the Gemara or the Brayta wanted to show the Chiddush of the Chumrah Beishama that you can't even swap silver for silver, we would have lost the beauty of understanding the Chiddush of Beisil. Because Havamina, Hanamili Bisloy Nasloy, it's only by silver on silver where Beisil allows it. Aval Bisloy Naldinorin, what if it was silver on gold? Maybe Moidelahu Beisil Beishama did the Havala Gabakas for Perahavi. Well, maybe Beisil would agree that you cannot be Mechalel from Kesef Antazov. Kamash Rolan Beisil wants you to know that not only did I hold you could be Mechal multiple times, you could even be Mechal from silver onto gold because silver is the product and gold is the currency. Tashma. HaPoyret Sela Shal Meiser Sheni Birushalayim. Now we're discussing the other way around. You got to Yerushalayim, you have silver coins. Now you need to cash in those silver coins for Kleingeld so you can go shopping there. You can cash in all of your silver and you can make it all into copper. No, you cannot cash in all your silver. You have to keep silver with you. You can only do half at a time. Why would Beis Hillel restrict that? We know on the way up he restricts it because they want you to come with Kleingeld to Yerushalayim. But once you get to Yerushalayim with your silver, why can't you convert everything into Kleingeld? Zokt Rashi, very, very simple. And I'm going to look at Rashi inside. Only liquidate half of your silver into copper. Why? You might not spend enough time in Yerushalayim to spend all the money that you have. So what are you going to do? You're not going to slip that money back to your city. What you're going to do is you're going to put it into a safety deposit box in Yerushalayim for safekeeping for when the next time you come. The Yavkid Ba'ir, Ad Regel, Acher, until the next Yom Tov. But if you put copper prutas in long-term storage, Vaprutos misapshois, they're going to become spoiled. And therefore, the Miyashiv Yachlif and Bisloin, but so what are you going to have to do? You don't want to keep it as copper, they'll get room. So what are you going to do? Before you leave, you're going to find you have extra copper. So what are you going to do? You're going to swap it back into silver, and you're going to pay a second exchange fee. Now you've had two exchange fees. Once to make it from silver into copper, and the second time to make it from copper back into silver. Who loses? Because at the end of the day, you're going to have less moyos of Meiser Sheni to spend. So therefore, don't cash in more than you need, because we don't want you to have to then buy again silver.
Why doesn't you're allowed to spend money in Yerushalayim on anything?
That's right, but we want you to buy as much food as possible.
Well,
we don't want you to waste your money on the currency exchange.
The exchanger has to make money also. He has to spend money in Yerushalayim.
I hear this far, but the Gemara is saying that that's a concern. I'm sure the people who were in the money exchange business weren't so happy with that. And tell them, calm down. You're making enough money on the way out. You don't have to make money. You don't have to make so much money. But I hear what you're asking. I'm sorry.
The idea was that the people in Yerushalayim should make money. It doesn't make a difference if the restaurant makes the money or the money exchanger makes the money.
I hear. That's a good aura. Okay, so let's see what the Gemara says. Hashto kasbo lagabe priti mechalalina. We know for sure that you're allowed to cash in your silver and make it into prutos, because Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel both agree that you could. The question really is how much you could. But the problem is, how did you get the kesef? You got the kesef because either you put the kedusha directly from the parish onto the kesef, or it came through prutos. It doesn't matter. But when you're going to go now back from kesef to prutos, that's a second swap. So frag the Gemara, hashta kesba lagabe priti mechalalinon. Everybody agrees you're allowed to be mechalo the kesef into prutos when you get to Yerushalayim. How come we don't say, according to Beis Shammai, you're not allowed to swap it a second time? So therefore, if we're talking about putting the Paris, the Kedusha of Paris on the gold, Miyam Rina on Kesef Rishon, V'loy Kesef Sheni, you shouldn't say Kesef Rishon V'loy Kesef Sheni. You see, Beferish Beis Shammai even allows onto copper. You could be Mechal. Surely you should be able to be Mechal onto gold, even though it's a Kesef Sheni. Amar Rava, Zatrava, what's your kasha? Yerushalayim Kamoisvis. You're asking me a kasha from Yerushalayim, where that's the place where you're supposed to cash in. Shiny Yerushalayim Dichsivba, V'nesata Kesef, B'chol Asher Ta'ava Nafshecha, Ba'bakru V'tzayin. That's what you're supposed to be doing in Yerushalayim. You're supposed to be liquidating. This restriction of Kesef Achas V'loi Kesef Sheni, that's when you're consolidating. But when you're deconsolidating and you're looking for small money in Yerushalayim, Avada, you're allowed to continue being pirate so that you'll be able to spend your money. Frek Toisvis, what does the pasuk say? Not on buying copper. Where does buying copper fit into this? Zok Toisvis, it's a one-liner all the way at the bottom of the daf. We learn from these psukim that it has to be a peri and gedula karka, not currency, not copper. All that limud says that you cannot buy with mois mashasheni water or salt. Avaloi pruta, a pruta you are allowed to buy with mois mashasheni. The pruta kind of bakar v'tzayin. If you have prutas, you can go to the vending machine where they sell bakar v'tzayin, and you can put it in the vending machine and buy it. David prima pri. So that is your gateway to getting prima pri, and therefore, for sure, you would be allowed to buy prutoids with the money. Beautiful. Zok to Gemara Toshma. Let's go back to the brisa we had when you're consolidating out of Yerushalayim. Hapoyret sela mimois ma'aser shein. Beishamay armim b'chol asala mois. What are you doing? You have copper and you want to consolidate further. Zok Beishamay, you can take all your copper and swap it out for silver. That's already a kesef sheni. We still are b'shekel kesef b'shekel mois. So right off the bat, our whole pshat was ogeshlan. How could you say Beis Shammai holds kesef rishon like kesef sheni? We have a brayta that's black and white. According to Beis Shammai, you're allowed to swap copper into silver. So what happened? You first put the kedusha from the fruit onto the copper, and now you're putting the kedusha from the copper onto the silver. That's kesef sheni. So your whole pshat is out the window. Ella itmar, Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish haki itmar. And now the Gemara is going to have a scenario where the only reason why you shouldn't do it according to Beis Shammai was they're above. The same thing as before. The machlekes is silver onto gold. The Beis Shammai Sarvri, you know why you cannot be mechalal silver onto gold? Zokt Beis Shammai. Let's turn over to Mem Hey Amud Beis. Shema Yisha Ali Yosef. What are you going to do if you don't have enough copper to be able to buy a gold coin? So what are you going to do? You might hold up from going up to Yerushalayim. You need 25 silver coins to buy one dinner. What if he only has 22 silver coins worth? He's not going to go be other regal. He's going to wait till he can get 25, get a gold coin, and then go be other regal. So therefore, we're afraid. And he's going to wait an extra year. He doesn't have enough silver to cash it in for a dinner zov. And here there's actually an interesting machlokes rishonim. The Gemara says v'loy masik how regards it. V'loy masik means he won't go at all to be oil regal. But Rashi's verse v'loy asukim masik lahu, which means she'ein masan koved shema'atein. What's going to happen is he's not going to take his money up to Yerushalayim. He's going to go up without any money. That's not what we want. So that's one pshat. Another pshat is he might not go be oil regal at all if he doesn't have money. We're not worried. Even if he doesn't have enough to buy a dinner, he'll go up with the silver coins that he has. We don't need to be worried. Paris al dinarin, but Paris al dinarin, there divra kol mechalina. Everybody holds you can be mechal. You're afraid he's not going to be mechal? He's going to wait? No. The keeping the Merkabi loy mashalu. For sure, he'll be mechal whatever Paris he has onto money because he knows if he keeps the Paris sitting too long, they're going to go bad. The Chad Omar and the other Tana holds afilu beParis al dinarin. So the other Omar between Rabbi Yochanan and Shlokish holds afilu beParis al dinarin nami machlokes. Even Paris al dinarin, there's a machlokes where Shammai would not allow it. Why would he not allow it? Zokt Rashi, the reason why he wouldn't allow it is because the peri nami asur l'shuya. He might hold on to the Paris, even though they'll get rotten, and therefore we want to encourage him to be mechal right away. Zokt Gemara Vayter. Bishlam lahachlishne de Amrat the midaraisa mishra shari for abundant who the gazur pay. Bishlam, according to the pshat that we just said, that it's only under abundant. Beishamai doesn't want people to wait till they have enough silver to buy a gold coin. Hanju de Katani, that's why the words that Beishamai said was Yasa v'lo Yasa. Right? Beishamai said lo Yasa into gold, and Beisil said Yasa into gold. Should you do it or should you not do it? But you for sure can do it. It will work. The question really is, shall you do it? That would indicate that there's a machlokes derabbanan. The wording that should have been used was mechalalilan v'loy mechalil miboyle. It should have said Beishamai you cannot be mechalel because it doesn't work, and Beishamai you can be mechal. So therefore, for the wording alone, it's mashma that the third pshat that we just had here is the right pshat. Zaktimar kasha, no, we will live with that, and that's the end of the sugya between the machlokes Beishamai and Beisil. If you're allowed to take silver, meiser sheni money and make it into gold. And now we're going to start a whole new sugya. Zok to Heilige Gemara.
What do you do with when you have money that's paper money?
I think paper money should be like currency. It would be like silver. That's what I would think. Zok to Mar Itmar. Rav v'Levi. Rav and Levi had a machlokes. We don't know who holds what. Now we know that there's kinyan kesef, and we know matbeya doesn't work for kinyan kesef because kinyan kesef doesn't work. So let's say I want to buy your car. So if I pay you for your car, I'm not going to your car. However, if I make a kinyan mashiach on your car, now I'm going to your car, cannot back out anymore. And now you don't have my money yet, but that creates a chiyuv that I'm now owing you the amount of money that we decided I would pay you for the car. So that's how kinyan kesef works. I'm sorry, the kinyan kesef does not work. Kinyan mashiach works that way, where I make a kinyan on the car, like a mashiach, and then I'm chayiv to pay you the money. You're not automatically calling you the money. I might not even have the money available, but I can't back out of the deal once I made a mashiach on the car. That's what kinyan kesef and mashiach would work. But chalipin is something else. Chalipin is when I'm doing a barter. It's not necessarily an equal barter, dollar for dollar, but it could be a barter. So let's say you have an orange and I want to buy it, and I have an apple and you want to buy it. So what I can do is if I pick up your orange and make a kinyan on your orange, automatically you're going to be kind to my apple. It's not that I owe you my apple. My apple is actually yours now. So that's how chalipin would work. So what about matbeya? I have a gold coin, and you have 25 silver coins, because that's the exchange. So you have the silver coin, I have the gold coin, and I want to buy your silver coins with my gold coin. So I give you my gold coin, and you pick it up, and you make a hagbah, kinyan hagbah on it. Am I automatically koiner your silver coins? In other words, can you do kinyan chalipin with a matbeya? So chadam or matbeya nasa chalipin, the kinyan would work. When I pick up your gold coin, you're automatically koiner my silver coin. The chadam or ein matbeya nasa chalipin. It does not work. And it would be totally in the pasuk that the Torah teaches us about kinyan chalipin is in Megillas Rus, where it says v'sholaf ish na'aloi, And the question is this na'aloy or not? Does money qualify as na'aloy? Zok to Gemara, I apologize. That's not pshat the machlokes. Absolutely not. There's a separate machlokes if this qualifies as na'aloy. But for sure, money does qualify as na'aloy. So I'm correcting my mistake. For sure, it does have the features of na'aloy and it would work. So then we need to understand why shouldn't it work. So let's talk about that. Omer Papa, my time in demand Omer ein matbei nasa chlipa. Why shouldn't it work? Zok to Gemara mishum de daite atzurasa v'tzurasa avida de belt. How does this kinyan chalipa work? When I make a kinyan on your apple, with that I have kavanah that you're going to be kinyan my orange. That's because when I kinyan your apple, I got what I wanted. I got my apple. But when you're giving me a coin to be kinyan, I don't really rely on the value of the gold of the coin. I'm evaluating the coin because of the imprint that's stamped on it. And because of that, I don't feel confident enough when I'm picking up your coin to be magneted to you the silver that I wanted to sell you. Why? Because a coin is very fickle. It could be worthless tomorrow. If the king decides, I don't like that imprint anymore, we're changing the mint. And therefore, a person will never be able to be soymech das for a proper kinyan when he is picking up your coin. That is the svara of our pub. Tanan we learned. Now we're going to start bringing riots. Our very Mishnah, Hazov koines hakesef. With Zov, you're koine kesef. Meaning, if you make a meshicha on my Zov, I will be koine your kesef. That sounds exactly like kinyan chalipin. My love b'chalipin. And if that's the case, ushmami na matpei nasa chalipin. So it's Shver and her Papa, who says, Ein matpei nasa chalipin. So Gemara Loi, that's not how you learn pshat of the Mishnah. Learn pshat of the Mishnah the way we learned it from day one. Bedamin. The question is really kinyan kesef. And when you're being kinyan dissolved, it's like you were moishach the product, and now you're mechuyev to pay the money in silver. Frank the Gemara, if you're going to tell me that this is kinyan kesef and not kinyan chalipin, then the wording of the Mishnah is not accurate. Ihachi hazov koines kesef, which is what the Mishnah says. That's not what it should say. It should say mechayiv miboyle. When you make a meshicha on my zav, you no longer can back out, and now you owe me payment for it. But I'm not automatically calling you the payment. The way this works is when you're making a meshicha, it seals the deal, and now you owe me the money. But I'm not automatically calling you the money ever when it comes to meshicha. So our Mishnah used the word zav koines hakesef. That clearly sounds like we're talking about kinyan chalipin and not meshicha. Because it was meshicha mechayiv miboyle. I should just say that when you are moishach the product, you're now chayiv, you have a liability to pay for. So I'll modify what the Mishnah means. Tini azov mechayiv. You think that's weird to say because it doesn't say that? The truth is, if you look at the Mishnah carefully, you'll agree with me. That's how you have to explain it anyway, that we're talking about meshicha with kesef and not chalipin. Hakadami mistafer. Midekatani seifa. What does the seifa of our Mishnah say? HaKesef einoi koines azov. Kesef is not koines azov. If we're trying to use kinyan kesef here, it makes sense. Hainu darminon, it doesn't work because kesef is currency. The hava pera, the kisba tiva, the tiva pera like honey. You cannot be koine by making a meshicha on the kesef. Makes perfect sense. But if we're talking about kinyan chalipin here, tarvayu likni adadi, why shouldn't it work? Tanya, and I'll bring you another raya. We have a brisa. HaKesef einoi koines azov. If you're moishech someone's kesef, he will not be koine your zov. Ketzad macher lo esrim v'chamisha dinar shel kesef per dinar shel zov. If I'm selling you 25 dinar of kesef and you're paying me with a dinar of zov, aval pisha moshech as a kesef. Even though the buyer of the kesef made a meshich on the kesef, loikana, he's not koine. The kinyan doesn't work. Achi yimshech es azov. Clearly telling us that if you're talking about kinyan kesef, that makes sense why I was not koine azov. If it's a discussion of chalipin nikli, why wouldn't it work? You want to say it's talking about kinyan kesef? Let's go back to the ratio of this brisa that we haven't quoted yet. Hazov koines hakesef. Zov is koine kesef. Ketzad. I sold you a dinar zov, and I'm charging you 25 dinar of kesef. Even shemoshach as a zov, the moment he makes a mashich on the gold, nikna kesef b'chamokim shahu. That's clearly a kinyan chalipin. Yavet b'shlama b'chalipin, hani dakatani nikna kesef b'chamokim shahu. You're actually kinyan the kesef because that's how chalipin works. When I'm moshich l'zov, you are actually kinyan the kesef. If you want to say we're talking about kesef, kinyan kesef, you're not kinyan the damim. I just owe you the damim. Hi nikna b'kesef b'chamokim. So what do you mean nick the kesef b'chamakim shu? That's not the right expression because you're not cutting the kesef. All that happens is nischayev gavra miboyle. It should just say that once one party makes a mashiach on the zov, he now owes the money towards the zov, and he has to pay him 25. But avada, the owner of the zov, the vendor who sold the zov, is not automatically cutting it. Amar Ravashi, no, B'taka speaking about dam. And the taka only means nischayev. So what's the lashon of brisa b'chamokim shehu? That sounds very much like it's a kinyan. So that's Gemara, not at all. Umay b'chamokim shehu, it just means kamosh shehu, like they made up. So when one person is kind of dissolved, he is mechayiv himself to pay kesef. How is the chi of kesef there? It's there exactly as per the details of the deal that they made. Could Amr lay like the original deal was as to how it would be paid. What did that mean? Let's say I said I would pay you 25 silver coins, but very new coins, straight out of the mint. I will pay you. The halach is that's what he has to pay. He can give older coins, even if these older coins might be higher quality and better coins and coins that are easier to use and are more liquid. Why not? Why should there be any problem? I'm giving you better value. No, you have to do exactly what you said, new coins. My time, why would somebody prefer new coins? You know what I was planning to do with these coins? I wasn't planning to use them right away. I was planning to lock them away for 20 years. So if you're already giving me old coins, by the time I put them away for another 20 years, they'll be too old. I want fresh coins, so even if I lock them up for a while, they'll still look good. Gewaltig. Amar Papa, Zokya Papa. Even if you're old, you cannot use my pay to make a chalip. So let's just clarify. I want to buy a behemoth from you. Okay? I want to buy a behemoth from you. So I give you my pay, you're going to be kind it, and that's how I'll be kind of the animal. That doesn't work. Right? If you hold ein matbei nasa chalipin, that doesn't work. Therefore, we say me'abed hudalei chalipin. If you pick up the coin so that your friend should be kind of the behemoth, that doesn't work. But aknuya mikne bechalipin. What if your friend makes the meshicha on the animal and he's kind of the animal? You will be kind of the coin, because just because the coin won't affect a kinyan chalipin, but a coin can still be nickness with a proper chalipin. How do you know that there's that distinction? That just because the coin can't make the chalipin, it could still be nickness b'chalipin. We know it from another case. Now there's a machloikis between Rab Nachman and Rab Sheshes whether or not you can use peiros for kinyan chalipin, because the Torah says, it says in Rus v'shalav ish na'aloi. Na'aloi is a keli. So there are those who hold any keli is good, fruit's good, anything's good, any metalton is good. But Rab Nachman holds no. Rab Nachman holds peiros will not work for chalipin. It's not characteristic of na'aloi. So even according to Rab Nachman, who says that peiros cannot be used for chalipin, a parallel of Nachman, lav al gav de inuloi of the chalipin. If someone makes a kinyan on the peiros on my apple, I won't automatically be koine his horse. Nevertheless, aknuye makne bechalipin. If I want to buy an apple from you, then if you make a kinyan on my horse, I will automatically be koine the apple. Or we use a handkerchief. If you make a kinyan on a handkerchief, I will be koine the apple. So just because the apple you can't use to make the chalipin, you could still be koine the apple with chalipin. So too, when it comes to matbeyos, even though ein matbeyos is a chalipin, tivinami loishna. Even though a matbey can't make chalipin, but you surely can be koine money with chalipin. So if I want to be koine your gold coin. I can give you my yarmulke, you lift it up, and then I'll be koine your gold coin. Metzia frank the Gemara. We have a fellow who wants to redeem his Ma'aser Sheni. But we know the halacha is, let's say I have $100 worth of Ma'aser Sheni, and I want to be mechaled out the money. I have to provide a 20% premium. I actually have to be mechaled on the $120. What if I don't have that extra 20? I only have 100. So I'm looking for a way to get out of paying the extra 20. Zok to Gemara, we have a solution for you. It's called a harama. Sometimes when there's a difficult situation, Chazal allow you to do a harama. So he's standing in his gairin, he doesn't have money. And he's trying to save the 20%. So what does he do? Very simple. He has to find somebody who he trusts blindly. And he'll tell his chaver, I'm gifting you all my pairs. Now they're not my pairs anymore. So therefore, when I'm paid to them, I'm not being paid to my pairs, I'm being paid to my friends' pairs. That I can get away with dollar for dollar, without a premium. Let's turn on to Mem Vav Amar Aleph. Now that my pairs belong to my friend, now I can say, he doesn't have money with him. So he says, I have cash at home. Your pairs, I want to be mechalol the kedusha from them onto my money. Now, since I trust my friend, he'll give me back those pairs. So now I was able to transfer them for a short period of time out of my rishus, and at that point they were not mine, so I was able to be mechalol them without a premium. Frank the Gemara, the only reason why you have to give it to your friend, you have to give the pairs to your friend, is because you don't have any money. But what if you did have money? What if you had cash right here? It would have made much more sense just to give the cash to your friend as a gift and let him be paid to your payers. Because the truth of the matter is, it doesn't look so good if you're paid to your own payers that 2 minutes ago belonged to you and now you gave it to your friend. It looks so much better if you just give your friend the money and your friend will be paid to your payers that never belonged to him. That looks much better. So Ham Yesh Biyadi Mois, if you have cash there, let his friend make a meshicha on the cash that he has, and then you park, and then he will be able to redeem the pairs dollar for dollar. The Hachi Adif, that's much better, the Havel Nachri, because he never owned the pairs. It looks much better, it's much less of a harama if you have someone who never owned the pairs redeem them. Frek the Gemara. The Amrit Matbei and Nikle Bechalipin, if you hold, you could be kind of money with Chalipin, even if the money's not here. I should be able to be makna you my money through a Kenya Chalipin right here. Nikni le Mois Laheich Agav Suder. Let my friend give me his yarmulke. I'll be pick it up and I'll be koina. And through that, as we said, he will be koina my money. And then once he has my money, he could be koina my Ma'aser Sheni. Belifrei. And with the Gemara, it's speaking the less le Suder. And the Rishonim say, what do you mean that of a Suder? He doesn't have a yarmulke, give him a shirt, give him a tzitzis. The teretz is it's speaking with this guy standing naked in the gairin. He has nothing on him. He has zero zilch, nada. I'm not in the case. Frank Nemor, okay, he's naked, he can't make a kinyan chalipin. Why don't he be makna a piece of karka to his friend, and through the karka, he could be makna him the money. So the word the less like karka, it's speaking with this guy doesn't the karka. Frank Nemor, what do you mean of karka? He's standing in his gairin with a big pile of grain. What do you mean he doesn't have karka? So Gemara, no, it's a rented place. He doesn't own it. The gairin shadish aloi. Frank Gemara, so you're telling me that the Mishnah's case over here about this harama is when a guy's standing stark naked in somebody else's gairin with a pile of wheat? That's like a crazy case. Why would the Chachamim even address such a crazy case? The ichbol tano l'ashminan gaver artiloi the less leveloi klum. Is that what the Tana is going to address? A case where a guy is standing in somebody else's garden, stark naked, and he's going to tell us, give your friend the wheat so that he can be pointed? Come on, it doesn't make the Tana wouldn't talk about such a case. Elamai, why can't he be makna the mois b'chalipin to his friend? Elav shmami no ein matbeya nikle b'chalipin. it must be that it wouldn't work. Shmamina. So you have a raya that not only is ein matbeya nasa chalipin, but you can't even be kind of matbeya with a chalipin. V'yafar papa hadarbe, and even your papa was chayzer, and he held that you cannot be kind of a matbeya bechalipin. He hadar a papa havlu treitze alpa zuzin beichazon. Rav Papa had 13,000 zuzim by beichazon, and he wanted to send a shliach to go pick it up. But no one would give it to the shliach because he said, I can't give it to you because I'm still responsible for it. So what did Papa do? He was makna all of that money to his shliach. Akninu l'Rav Shmuel bar Acha agav asifa de basic. Rav Papa wanted to be makna the money that was in the hands of the Beichazoi to Rav Shmuel bar Acha. How did he do it? He did it with Kinyan Agav. But he didn't do it with Kinyan Chalipin. You know why? Because Chalipin doesn't work for money. And what happened was he was makned him with Agav, and Shmuel bar Acha got that money from the Beichazoi, and he was coming back to deliver it to Rav Papa. Rav Papa was so excited that he was able to retrieve his money that he didn't wait till Shmuel bar Acha came to his house. He ran out of the city to the next city over, and he met Shmuel bar Acha in the city over. He also Novak Lapei at Tovech. He ran all the way to Tovech to greet him and get his money. But you see there, he didn't use Chalipin because Mois, you cannot be koina with Chalipin. Okay, Gavaltik, we'll stop here, and Be'ez Hashem tomorrow will be Mamshech. Once again, we should be mispal that Klal Yisrael should have a Yeshua, and nobody chas v'shom should get into it.
Amen. Shkoyach.
Shkoyach, get to
That's